Speaking of cooking,
Go watch 10 Cent Beer Night, man. We were cooking that night. That was perfect. That was the best
Nobody's
episode
watched
we ever
that
did.
episode.
So?
now they're going.
Maybe that just proves our audience has shit taste.
I mean, we already knew that. They're watching this show. Hello.
Right, hello to the audience there.
Yeah, what are you doing? Welcome to episode 40, Shrimp Hours. There's only 4 of us left. Everyone else is dead. I'm DriveThrough. Rusty's here. s1ap's here. Cody's here. It's basically me and Team Old Man tonight.
Oh. Hey.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You didn't have the poutine dog.
I didn't know. If you told me one day before that they had poutine dogs at the Jays game, I
didn't know. A Kenseth fan posted it on Twitter. They had the poutine dog at the Jays stadium.
County can get his own.
That alone makes me want to go see a Jays game now. I gotta go to
feel
Toronto.
like an idiot because I literally saw a Jays game and didn't get a poutine dog. I got a thing of popcorn instead.
I gotta say, all the Martinsville hot dog slander I've been seeing on the timeline this past weekend is treason. These people need to be.
Dude, even with inflation, it's still $2. It's still $2.
They need to be re-educated.
How can you complain about that?
Camps. Put them in the camps.
The
camps are held out in turn 1 in the trailer park. That's where the re-education hot dog camps are.
Where I'm assuming nobody ever washes their hands.
Oh my! They repurposed the missing grandstands and like. From
this is the 1-year anniversary of no hand washing.
Oh,
it is. And you didn't go.
I didn't go because of my triple hernia.
I did see on Twitter someone was like, "Oh, why couldn't you go?" And you just said like health reasons or something like that.
Yeah, medical reasons.
Medical reasons.
Can we get an update? Can we get like a s1ap's hernia update?
I'm feeling fine. There's just a slight pain in my left groin, but I mean that's only like when I'm like exerting myself trying to run upstairs, and I'm like my groin muscles like casually reminds me like, don't do that. I'm like, you're right, I won't do that, and I'm like fine for the rest of the day.
I think you're supposed to get surgery today.
No, I'll get surgery May 5th.
Oh God!
Like 2.5 weeks. Dude.
What are you doing until then?
I will. That falls on a Friday, so that Monday afterwards, I'll probably be out for the podcast.
Are you working until then?
No, I haven't been working since.
I know.
April 3rd.
So you're just getting a month off.
Yeah.
Chill.
Right.
Relaxing.
Making YouTube videos, I'd imagine. I
got one sent to my editor, biodegradable. I got another one in the pipe, and I got a third one I'm working on right now. So,
damn,
I do something to pay for those American medical bills.
Yeah.
By the way,
that's true.
The union medical plan can only do so much.
I didn't even think about that.
Speaking of hand washing, you guys better hope that it's not cold at Indianapolis, because Anderson Speedway, the hot water in the men's rooms does not work.
Maybe they'll fix it up for the month of May. That's their big race.
No, that's
and the Hoosier 100 is running at IRP that Friday night before the 500. So
we'll have like races every single night going on, like leading up to the 500.
I got the Speedrome, Circle City. We got IRP, Anderson.
We have literally a schedule planned out of where we're going.
It's gonna be working the 500, the little 500. I'll be probably chilling in the infield.
Oh, dude, that infield is nuts.
Yeah, they got like a whole pit road down there. Have you seen like the ARCA races like back in the day when they had that figure 8 like infield pit lane? That's crazy as shit.
They're gonna use that during the little 500. If you've ever seen Cozy's vlogs, you know what happens. They use the X of the infield figure 8 track as a pit road. Yeah. But because they're sprint cars, as soon as you stop the car, the engine shuts off and you need to push.
Yep.
So that the teams work as quick as they can to get the new tires on the car, to then call the push trucks to come and push them. But the push trucks have to like find a team that's available with their car ready to go. But if you call a push truck too early and your car's not ready, then they get pissed. But if you don't push the right car, then they get pissed because they lose spots, and it's just like a complete mess. But it's
one of my camera guys was talking about that. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen the push trucks like fuck over like 2 people from winning the race like in the last 5 years because they're in the pits like, hey, I'm ready to go," and then they just drive past them and do someone in front of them instead.
Yeah, so it turns into just all these teams jumping and hooting and hollering with their arms waving all over the place, trying to get push trucks' attention.
I may or may not be down there working that for that race.
Yeah, dude.
Get some Animal Planet.
No,
I do
God,
recommend
no.
watching Cozy's vlogs from his Indy 500 weekends and just going to the little 500 segment. I'm excited. It's a hell of a race.
Dude, I thought the ARCA pit stops there back in the day were crazy, but they have starters on their cars, and Killcare with the USAR series. They also have like this little quarter-mile track with like a figure 8 track where they do all the pit stops and everything. And they did live pit stops from the from the figure 8 track, which is crazy as shit.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like a death trap, dude.
It's a mess, but it's beautiful.
Where I'll be, there's a giant like elevated like concrete triangle that's like 5 feet off the ground, so I'll be good.
Hopefully.
Until
I hope those things don't go hopping each
one
other.
of those open wheel cars gets airborne and yeets.
No, because I'm always facing the backstretch, and if I see one coming towards me, there's a little spot I could just jump down and duck behind like the big platform, use as a barrier.
Well, we'll have front row
I
seats for the occasion.
Grenade!
All right, now that we've talked about some cool racetracks, let's talk about Martinsville. I mean,
It's a cool
the track is
bad
cool,
package.
but yeah.
Am I
This is
the
the
only one
segment
who
we
thought the
call-
race was like actually kind of okay?
Segment's called NASCAR Sucks. What do you mean?
I mean, guys are like beating and banging, bumping each other out of the way. There's a pass with
that's the
like
only
30
way
to
you can
go
pass.
for the lead. And then
Oh, yeah,
there's
why
a little
didn't
bit
Ryan
of
Preece
bumping and
win?
beating and banging. I thought it was kind of cute.
Didn't Ryan Preece lead like all the leading laps? What happened?
Led the first stage, won the stage. I think got a speeding penalty, and I think got stuck in 25th the rest of the day.
Bro. Yeah, I didn't watch
Bruh.
any of the race. I don't know if you can tell. I didn't watch any of the racing this weekend, I don't think.
I mean, and to be
neither.
fair, I was mostly watching the Long Beach race, which
Yeah.
happened at the exact same time.
IndyCar was a banger, especially the start of it. It was hot. It was really hot.
I watched the highlights. It looked like a good
Shouts
time.
out to what is his name? Kyle Kirkwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, first win.
Oh, he won?
Yeah.
Yeah, he filling in.
Yeah.
He took Alexander Rossi's seat, and then Rossi could crash in the last lap with Aaron McLaren.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. He started on pole too, if I remember correctly.
Rossi's not in the 27 anymore?
No, he's in the 7 with McLaren, and now Kirkwood's in 27.
Is
Yeah.
that like full time going forward?
Yeah.
Yep.
This whole
Wow.
season.
There was a pretty juicy moment when Pato O'Ward just dive bomb body slam Dixon into the tires, and then Dixon was not too happy in his interview.
Yeah.
So it's cool to
Yeah.
see Dixon kind of cut a little promo, like gloves off, baby, like let's go. Like,
Well, and then later on, Patos did the same send on someone else and then just got himself turned around, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
We got beef heading into Indy, though.
Yeah, I guess so. Is that the next race?
I think it's Indy GP.
Oh, right. They do the GP. Sorry. I was going to say if the
Yep.
500 is in a damn month.
take another month off.
Yeah, that's all I got for. Was anything that happened in NASCAR? Genuinely?
There's the Carson Hocevar thing in the truck.
Oh,
The
yeah,
truck-
Carson Hocevar is
Race
stupid.
fucking wet, damp tire fiasco.
I didn't
And they
see
said
any
it
of
was
I
a
just watched it
success.
afterwards.
I saw them go on Twitter, and someone was quoting them on Twitter. One of either the Goodyear NASCAR representatives saying, like, yeah, we
We like-
use the
we like what we're
the
seeing.
wet tires on a wet track. Don't call them
Yeah.
rain tires.
Yeah, they race until the predetermined competition caution, and then they realized the track was dry enough that they could go to dries, but the pit road was so fucking wet that they had to send the jet dryers up and down pit road to like dry it off, so that when you switch to slicks, you wouldn't like spin out and like careen into a pit crew or whatever. And by the time they did that, it was only like 6 laps until the stage break.
Jeez.
So it was completely useless and stupid and a waste of time.
Yeah. I'm just sad because I was always a rain tire believer, but I feel like Goodyear is not the kind of person you want making tires to use.
Well, by the time they put people like out there to do pace laps to start up the race, they should have put the jet dryers down on pit road and got that like cleaned up.
Yeah. All right, well, whatever. Maybe they'll come back. Let's go to Drip or Drown. I don't have a whole lot to show you for Drip or Drown this week. I think literally the only paint scheme from this weekend I have to show is this Harvick Realtree one, which has Hunt Brothers on the hood and Realtree on the side. Just kind of I don't know. There's just minimal real tree stuff. It's kind of Dale-like with the plain black. I don't know how to feel
It does
about
remind me of Dale with like the red number outline.
Yeah, I kind of like
that's
it. A little bit drippy. A little drippy.
It's just kind of weird that they got pizza on the hood and then like real tree camo around the sides.
I heard that cat, by the way, Cody.
I also, this isn't a paint scheme. I just have a picture of head on of one of the trucks just bananaed out in the corners. I love the way they scheme these
Cranston's
things.
been rocking Jack Links and Menards for like 5 years now.
Nah, I'm saying look at how like
Truck
angled this truck is. The rear end is kicked way out to the right.
yeah.
It's curved. The
Looks like
nose is
NASCAR
sticking out
08
this way.
when they'd get like T-bone.
Yeah. Just full banana. Okay, some paint
Yellow
schemes to look
banana.
at. Real quick, something actually not NASCAR related. Peugeot showed off their paint scheme for the 9X8 that's racing at Le Mans. This thing is sick.
That's a real
Peugeot's
race
back
car?
at Le Mans.
This is a real race car. Peugeot's back with the new
No
whatever
wing.
these regulations are called. Underbody downforce, no wing, friggin' LMDH or whatever they call it.
Is this LMP1 or what is this?
This is the replacement for LMP1.
Oh,
LMH.
So-
This is the Peugeot 9X8. So they're gonna have Peugeots, Ferraris, Porsches. I don't know
Is
if they're
Toyota
gonna
back?
race BMWs. Toyotas, yes, also Toyotas.
Audi.
I gotta look at the lineup. But yeah, it's gonna be a ton of shit.
Audi and Porsche are owned by the same company now, so I don't think they compete against each other.
No, they did compete against each other in like 2016, and then Audi was like, COVID, we're not gonna race anymore. And then
No,
Porsche built a car with Multimatic.
with Legos.
Stuff coming up. Noah Gragson's running another Biggie Bag Wendy's
Biggie
car.
Bag Ganger, yes.
Ooh.
Not as
Prada.
good as his 59 one, but they just have the whole ass. There's just a full combo on the side of the car. Like
That's the
nuggets,
Biggie Bag.
fries, they got the drink, and they got the burger.
I love how all the pictures of the food is literally bigger than the fucking
The name.
the restaurant name on the
Yeah,
side of it.
it's just
Well,
tons
all
of
you need is
food.
that picture of like Wendy's, the logo, and like everybody instantly knows.
Well, and they have the one in the racing helmet on the hood too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
My
pretty
favorite
sick.
little cute attention to details on the roof of the car. It's like the top of the bag, and it like curves around the roof logo towards the rear window where the driver's last name is. You can't really see it here, but there's a Wendy's logo there, and it's like this little indent from the white bag. It's cute.
I don't know who they had design this, but it's pretty cute. It's good for a Legacy Motor Club scheme. It still has the black like pillars and the gold number drop shadow.
Well, shout
I
out to
can't
Wendy's
actually
for
find
coming back, dude. New paint scheme every time they partner with Noah. They do big activations. The fans seem to be really
So,
supportive and stuff.
Not only
my
that-
ass in Daytona, by the way, with those free baconators. I was so
Yeah, those are
fucking
great.
hungry.
Oh yeah.
I was like
those are
overheating.
clutch.
I was overheating, and they had free Frosties too. I was like, oh fuck yeah.
Dude, I remember they had
Even
the
crushing bacon.
dude. They had the free breakfast sandwiches and the
Yep.
the mocha frosties at Daytona. Those were
Yeah.
delicious.
They also are doing some eNASCAR sponsorship now. They're sponsoring the pre-race show of the Coke series. So shout out to Wendy's. Good stuff. Love to see it. All right, I got two
They've
more paint
never
schemes.
had not a banger fucking paint scheme.
Sam Mayer is
Oh,
driving
this is a
a
good shot.
First Bank of Alabama car at Talladega,
It's pretty sweet.
and the logo of the bank is the number.
Dude, when was the last time we got this? Like
the
Dude,
7-Eleven
dude,
with
the
Kyle
box-
Petty.
Yep.
The box
Yep.
logo, with like Donnie Allison and the Hawaiian Tropic car, where it has like the box around the one and the fucking star above it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. What else? I know. Oh, a weird one. Jeremy Mayfield 360 OTC. That 36 was like most of that logo. I remember the Net Zero car ran the 0, but that wasn't like the logo. This is just straight up the logo. The First Bank has this first in a box, and they just took the ST out of it, and it's just the number 1.
That's pretty sweet.
You remember
That's
the same All-Star race where Jimmy Johnson ran the number 5 and then Mark Martin ran the 25 Farmers Insurance.
Yeah.
Ricky Stenhouse was sponsored by Fifth Thirds Bank, and they wanted to be number 53, but they wanted a cross where it would be Fifth Thirds, and the NASCAR said no.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been sick. Is there even like a render of that? I guess not.
Maybe somebody made it like way back when, but I don't think anybody ever did anything with it.
Yeah, that would have been cute. Yeah, I can't think of the last time this has happened. But it's sick.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Williams as always.
Yeah. Big ass hood logo. Love to see it. Also,
box logos, even when it was Red Horse, box logos always fucking drip. Yeah, box numbers, box logo, whatever.
Dude, like the who was the guy who drove that Otterbox 77?
Herman Quiroga?
Yeah, Herman Quiroga.
Herman, yeah. Brazilian dude.
Those are cute. Hold on, I gotta pull that up. Because as soon as you bring up box numbers, I think of he almost won that
CTMP race, right?
That CTMP race. Blaney beat him fair and square.
Who was the guy who snookered to win at Daytona? Peter King?
John King. John King. Yeah, look at that. Just like numbers in a box. It looks like a jersey.
What year was that? Because that was the same. Because that was the finish where Joey Coulter went into the catch fence, and they ended it under caution. So John King won. I can't. Yeah,
because me and my friend had a bet on who was going to blow over.
It was late 20,000 or 2000.
2011, I think.
Yeah, it was 2011.
Okay.
John King in the that's reflective in the Red Horse truck. It honestly kind of looks like a Mobile One when you put the number in the box like that. What is that? Toyota Trucks logo? I have never.
Like that was the shape. That was the shape they had on the grill.
Ew. That's disgusting. Anyway, next up, Ryan Ellis. Apparently, he went to Raising Cane's after a race and tweeted a picture and said, "Hey, at Raising Cane's, sponsor us." And they did. So now they're going to Talladega.
What about that Truck Series driver who did the race Friday night and then went to go be a server at Outback?
Oh yeah, Malozzi.
Yeah. I even
works
hit
as a
up,
waiter at Outback Steakhouse.
I even hit
Shut
up
up.
Outback on Twitter just see if they, catch on to it.
Did they?
Not to my knowledge, at least not yet. Anyway,
we see a lot of these tweets where drivers are like, "Hey, so and so sponsor me." Even more so when fans are like, "Hey, you should sponsor this driver." There are a lot of moving pieces in setting up these advertising deals, and it's not easy. So shout out to Raising Cane's because they like really went out above and beyond, and I think this is the first time they've been on a stock car.
I think according to Pastana, it's their first time in NASCAR.
Also, quick shout out to this iRacing screenshot. You can tell because the lug nuts don't fucking spin.
God damn it, DT.
Sorry to all the audio
Cane's is
listeners.
actually like really good. They're like on par with Zaxby's though.
I've heard good things. Once again, from a fucking cozy vlog where he gets Cane's for the first time.
You got to get tons of cane sausages.
I apologize if I fall asleep on the podcast tonight.
What?
Damn, is it that bad?
No. Speaking of food, I had a big ass dinner and I had like a bunch of ribs. So I've got like the post feast just.
Oh, dude, if you got ribs and like potato salad, it's done. This like lights out.
When you were talking about Outback Steakhouse, that reminded me. It's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm fucking full. Like,
where'd you get ribs?
Me and my family, we went to Texas Roadhouse.
And
I had like 4 or 5 of those goddamn delicious rolls with the cinnamon butter.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're done.
And I got the half rack of ribs with loaded mashed potatoes and a Caesar salad.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead.
And you got the cat on the lap.
Kitty.
Oh, and we lost the cat.
I was gonna say
that was
perfect time.
It was a setup. I was waiting for that thing to go out and him just not come back.
Oh, was perfect timing.
All right. The next segment we usually call "What's Twitter Doing," but Cody suggested before the show that we just call it "What's the Internet Mad About," because that just kind of encompasses literally everything on planet Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just quickly want to touch on all this. There's been so much. I see like ads on Twitter about Chase Elliott's coming back. Come and watch Chase Elliott return at Martinsville. They had stuff where it's like, I'm watching Chase Elliott. He's back at Talladega, and it's like, okay, well, he was back last week. It's just so funny the way that NASCAR treats Chase Elliott like he's Jesus Christ when his leg is just it's not broken anymore. all that's happened is his leg has healed itself. And they make it seem like it's such a he's coming back racing. It's like
they're targeting their own audience that engages with their content with a paid campaign. And I feel like if you're engaged, you know Chase is coming back. Like,
I don't know. He might have taken a dip in Michael McDowell's pool. You never know.
But
phone me when Cody wears back racing.
Jesus. I don't know if that's gonna be for a while.
This week too, right?
There's a reason, like, this is the first driver that's missed a race in a while, and they took his name off the fucking banner. He's not coming back.
He's not. There's no coming back.
Who replaced him? I didn't see the race. Who was in the 51?
Crafton? Oh no,
it was
Zane
Crafton
Smith
at Bristol.
Yeah,
oh
Zane
yeah,
Smith.
Yeah.
Shout out Zane. Sweet.
What are they gonna do this week? Because Zane Smith's gonna be in the 38, isn't he?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And John Hunter Nemechuk, yeah, he's going to the 36.
What Ford driver in Xfinity can they plug
Or no,
in there?
Todd's going to the 36. I'm confused.
Oh, maybe Riley Herbst coming back?
Well, I was thinking Cole Custer.
Cole Custer could do it. Yeah.
Because Cole Custer, his first Cup race was in the Rick Ware 51 when Haas bought him out for a week. And Stuart Haas has been doing this thing with the SS Greenlight Xfinity cars where they just like set up their own Xfinity car, enter it as someone else's team, and show up and race. Like when Custer drives the 07. They did it with Almirola at Coda.
Yep.
So my question is, what's stopping Stuart Haas from just preparing 5 cars and then calling one of them a Rick Ware car?
That's the same thing that 2311 does with Joe Gibbs.
Yeah. Well, they still have different shops. And they definitely have different wrap
technically on
installers.
paper anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Greenlight has
Talladega this week.
You what?
Are they racing at Talladega this week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, with Zane Smith racing. Okay, hell yeah.
No, that was our question, Cody.
Yeah, Zane Smith is going to be in the 38 car.
No, I know you said that earlier, and I figured that he would only be racing if it was like a super speedway. So that's why I was asking and confirming.
I guess so.
It was Talladega.
They're also doing another Coke race this week.
Dude, back to back, and we're going to Dega, dude. Oh, baby.
It's fixed setup. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on at the schedule, but like they were like, oh, we want to do 2 races back to back, but we understand that you need 2 weeks to like build setups, so we're just gonna do a fixed setup race at Talladega. I don't know. I feel like that could have been planned better. Especially because it's just standard points, so I don't know what's gonna go on. Bizarre. All right. I did see on Twitter today people being weird about the IndyCar pre-race prayers, which I know is a touchy subject for weirdos. But someone went off. I forget who it was, but it was someone who was like outside the sport. I don't know if they were working in marketing or other motorsports or something. They were just like, what's this weird shit? Just doing a prayer before the race. Nobody else does that. Not a great look. And then a bunch of other people went nuts about it, and I was just like, ugh. And like, I agree.
That's not a topic you really want to touch on Twitter.
Right. It's true. And they did like a way worse job than you.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
I could offer some future tips for anybody that wants to dabble in that exposure. if you want some clicks and quote tweets, I got you.
Oh, the other thing, I just saw this today. This is from a Blue Jays pitcher.
Oh,
Anthony Bass. I've not heard of this guy. I don't know a lot about baseball.
I thought you were going to talk about the Glizzy.
Baseball.
Nah, he put this out on Twitter. This is what people are mad about. And he says, the flight attendant at United just made my 22-week pregnant wife traveling with a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old get on her hands and knees to pick up the popcorn mess by my youngest daughter. Are you kidding me? And this is borderline Animal Planet because it's his kid and just popcorn all over the floor. And he went on Twitter.
Tell your kids to pick up after themselves.
I mean, if you're not flexible enough to just reach that by bending down without like crawling around, I mean, that's kind of on you.
So he went on Twitter to complain about it. That's what everyone said. It's like he's like, United made my 22-week pregnant wife crawl on the floor, and everyone's like, what were you doing, bro? Like, he got what, 7,000 likes, and the top comment has 51,000.
Dude,
of just people being like, dude,
and
like
12,000 quotes.
Look at 36 million in exposure, dude.
Like it's time to delete the tweet, buddy. this is too far gone.
That's a ratio.
36 million people looking at
almost
this
twice
grown man complain about
likes.
popcorn being picked up from the floor after his kid made a fucking mess. Like, come on. Like, I know, but like, come on.
I feel like there's more to the story here, and I'm not gonna rush to judgment.
He has fully embraced it, because now he's posting pictures of his kid with more popcorn.
So that's demonic. You shouldn't be doing that.
Thank you everyone for the support. United Airlines is taking care of matters with the flight attendant internally.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a close-up picture of my children to post to the internet for my millions of.
Did they tag the popcorn company?
No, but
man, fuck them kids.
Anyway, tough look for Anthony Bass tonight.
Pick up after your damn kids. Come on.
No, I completely agree. And yeah,
don't make your like 3 months away from having or giving birth pregnant wife do it. You do it yourself.
And then complain about it on Twitter. Get absolutely ratioed and just leave it up there. No, he needed to take
the picture for clout instead. He's like, all right, honey, well, I'm uploading this. You pick it up because they're telling us.
Instead.
Yeah. Just delete the tweet, buddy. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not like you're a professional athlete or anything. Yeah, just bending down and picking up some popcorn. Yeah, that'd be a really tough task for you, I'm sure.
I'm actually amazed it's made it so long without someone making him take it down, but I guess it's a good thing. All right. Well, now that we got all that stuff out of the way.
That alone is reason enough to not get the poutine hot dog.
Well, I'll be back, and I will get the poutine hot dog at some point.
You have to protest it, man. Stand in solidarity with the flight attendant.
It's time. Slap's crazy ass moments in history. An extra special, like, Slap is at home not working and he has too much time on his hands, and this is the result. This is what happens. Buckle up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, y'all not ready for it.
Look at this.
Y'all not ready for it. You're not ready for it. Oh.
Oh, this is the last episode.
This is what's gonna kill the show.
Last episode. This is it. Just done.
I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, no matter what happens, this is getting demonetized. This video specifically.
We'll be seeing.
Put on the watch list. Screw the demonetization.
We're in trouble after this one.
Hit the button.
Aren't you gonna tease it first?
No.
Yeah, I thought you were supposed to tease it first.
I think the intro video speaks for itself.
Okay, hold on. I gotta make sure everyone gets sound for this because it's time.
Hide my face.
If you guys are driving this, buckle in. This is like, or wherever you're at, strap in. You're going for a ride.
All right.
At 9:02 a.m., April 19th, 1995, what was then and still remains the deadliest act of domestic terrorism in American history was committed in the nation's heartland, where a truck bomb was detonated in the loading area of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. Over 150 people were killed in the blast, and nearly 700 were injured. And after a 2-day search, investigators had the man responsible in custody. There was no foreign influence in this act. There was no psychosis or mental illness to blame. When the people of America saw the face of the person responsible, they were all shocked. It was one of their own. The perpetrator was a well-spoken young man who was a decorated Army veteran and had his whole life ahead of him. He spoke softly but confidently and showed absolutely no remorse for what he had done. What set of circumstances could have possibly driven someone to do something like this? The answer lies within events that took place nearly a decade prior, and it wasn't any one thing. It was a cavalcade of events that made a spark which lit a flame that started a fire that unraveled into a full-blown inferno. Who was this man? Why did he do what he did? And could it happen again? At night.
So that's gonna be its own video, right?
Maybe one day you got to like crop out the URL up there so people can't see it. It's unlisted, man.
Oh, it's fine. I'll use the YouTube thing to blur. Oh no, crap! It goes on Spotify too. What people can? Okay.
You'll have to do a quick edit next week. Sorry, buddy.
Quick edit.
What? Okay. Even if they find that video, what happened? It doesn't matter, right?
I guess not. I got a lot of weird comments starts getting shared on Reddit in the weird places.
All right. Well, if you share the video, it gets deleted. There you go. Done.
All right.
This is gonna be our little secret, viewers.
All right. Just crop it out, DT. Goddamn.
Oh, but that's so much work. Then I have to re-export the whole
So
thing.
much work! Oh my god!
So much work. Oh
You
my
literally
god.
snip on the timeline, zoom in, crop, export, done. It's
Yeah, but then I have to
so
put it
much
on a
work.
timeline. The whole point of this is I don't put it on a timeline. I didn't know you'd be weird about a URL.
All right. We're doing it. We're doing it live. Okay.
We're doing it live. That's the whole point. Otherwise, this podcast dies. I want you to know I do it out of love for this show. We have to edit stuff. It's in the garbage bin.
All right. We're doing it live. All right. So all this begins in about 1983 with a guy by the name of Robert Matthews. This is a guy who is a white supremacist, bad guy, believes that our nation's been taken over by satanic Jews and, they've
Jesus.
taken over the highest echelons of government, all the hits. There's a race war coming. We got to do something about it. So he joins a group called the Aryan Nations up in northern Idaho, where they have this whole compound and, there's like hundreds of people that gather there. There's, every year they have like their big jamboree where like thousands of people come in from like out of state and shit.
Jamboree, that's one way to
Yeah.
put it.
Dude, it was like a whole compound, like campsites, all kinds of shit.
Jesus. Jesus.
Robert Matthews is here for a couple years. He's hearing like all the hits, we got to do something. Race war's coming, all this shit. And eventually he gets it in his head. These guys are all talking, no action. These guys are just sitting here just talking about like stuff that's going to happen. They're not actually doing anything. Well, Robert Matthews is a true believer. So he gets a group of about 12 other dudes and they form what they call the Order. This is a group that take their name from this, racist manifesto called the Turner Diaries or whatever. And they call themselves the Order, named after the rebel group from that book. And they decide that they're gonna actually initiate the race war and gather all this money and actually put their money where their mouth is. So the first thing they do is they rob a sex shop somewhere in Idaho. They get like $300 for their troubles and they're like, man, that's way too high profile, way too little return on investment. Let's start robbing banks instead. It's all Jew money anyway. Who fucking cares?
Can't
So
say
they start that's their words. Like it was, they didn't think that this is like turning against America. This was like turning against the evil people that are destroying America and all that, the bankers and all the people in the shadows, the puppet masters and all that shit. So they started like robbing banks, robbing armored trucks and all that stuff. And they even started like a counterfeit money operation. Well, that counterfeit money operation gets bopped. And there's two guys that get caught by feds, and those two guys flip, and they start acting as informants. And they basically let the FBI know, hey, they're talking about hitting this armored truck coming out of a Bank of America out of Boise, and they're going to hit on this rural highway, and they're going to get like $1 million out of this thing. Well, sure enough, the feds kind of just let this thing happen. They take all the money and they run. And sure enough, Robert Matthews drops a pistol out of his holster. And now they have probable cause for him having that pistol linked to him. And they can go raid his compound on Whidbey Island in Washington State. So all this is happening up in the Pacific Northwest. The feds basically like track him down to this compound on Whidbey Island. They surround the place. They tell everybody, get out or else we're going to storm the place. Most of the Aryan Nations guys, the Order, end up giving up without a fight, except for Robert Matthews. He's the one guy who stays alone in the compound, and he starts shooting off about 1,000 rounds towards the federal agents. Federal agents shoot 1,000 rounds back. Nobody hits anybody, by the way.
The most
taxpayer dollars at work.
That's some crappy aim right there.
Of all of all the FBI shootouts we've talked about on this podcast, I think that's the most rounds.
Most rounds fired without a hit. So far in our crazy ass moments in history, that's most rounds fired without a hit.
The crazy ass cinematic universe.
So they throw tear gas at him, but he's got gas masks and everything. He's not budging. And eventually something happens, which will become a recurring theme later on. But they decide to shoot a flare at his house around sundown. The FBI say, oh, this is to illuminate the target, to see what's happening. Other sources say they shot it not above the house where it could illuminate it, but at the house where it would catch the house on fire. That way they could coax him out through the
basically force him if he doesn't want to burn to death.
Yeah. So the idea is they'll light the house on fire and he'll get out and surrender himself. He never does. He goes down shooting bullets to the last second. They find his dead body around a chest full of ammo and the remains of Whidbey Island. And one thing that really got the FBI involved with these guys was the assassination of Alan Berg. They had formed an assassination squad, went all the way down to Denver, Colorado to go after this Jewish radio host who would bait white nationalists to call into his show, and he'd make fun of them, tell them how stupid they were, pretty base stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the Order did not take too kindly to that guy, and they got an assassination squad together, went all the way down to Denver, shot him out in front of his house, riddled him full of bullets, and that's what got the FBI's interested and told their informants, like, hey, flip this guy now. We don't want anything worse to happen about this. But now the FBI is very interested in the Aryan Nations compound out in Idaho. And they want to get somebody on the inside. They get some ATF guys on the inside, and they realize there's one guy that always comes up to the compound, but he's not an official member. He has some moral hangups for whatever reason. His name is Randy Weaver. Randy Weaver was originally from Iowa. He was a Green Beret, came out of the Army, worked at the John Deere tractor factory in Iowa, worked on a farm. And with Reaganomics and everything happening, farms started getting taken over by massive corporate interests. They started getting turned into factory farms. The John Deere plant is starting to shut down because they don't have as many customers anymore. And he and his wife have really gotten into biblical prophecy. They've started getting really into fundamentalist Christian sort of stuff. And there's a passage in the Old Testament of the Bible that says you will travel west and ride out the storm on top of a mountain. And they take that quite literally. They just decide to go out west to Idaho and buy a little bit of property on top of a mountain called Ruby Ridge. And they go out there. There's no plumbing, no running water, no power, no electricity. They take themselves and their 3 kids out there, and they live on top of this mountain. I don't think they'd realize it at the time, but they were about 30, 40 miles away from the Aryan Nations compound, and Randy Weaver, looking for some people to connect with, ends up going down to the compound and listens to a few speeches and everything. He never ends up joining, but has a guy that's over there at the compound and says, hey, I heard you need some money. How about, you saw off some of these shotguns for me and I'll give you a pretty penny. And
business.
Always a setup.
yeah, as a setup, if you don't know anything about U.S. firearms laws, a shotgun, the minimum length of a barrel has to be 18 inches. Any length beneath that, that's a federal offense. That's 10 years in prison. As a short-barreled shotgun, sawed-off shotgun, and you're not allowed to do that. And so Randy Weaver agrees to do this, gives the guys his shotguns. About a week later, he's driving his kids to the store and everything. And there's this broken down motorist on the side of the road. He and his wife and kids pull over to the side to help out these motorists. Turns out those were feds, and they were waiting for Randy Weaver to pull over on this random road towards his house. And they throw him in the snow, put him in handcuffs, take him to the jail. The kids are left alone in the car. They get a relative or some friends to come down and pick up the kids. And Randy posts bail, puts up his whole house for bail, and agrees to show up for court in February or March of 1991. Only problem was they gave him the wrong court date. His court date is actually February of 1991. And so the feds basically get him for not showing up to court.
And setup.
So they hit him up in March, and they're like, hey, you're supposed to show up to court. And they try to get a hold of him, but he's not responding to anything. He essentially spends an entire year on top of that mountain evading a court request to show up to court and surrender himself to the U.S. Marshals. Well, so since now this is an ATF federal charge and he didn't show up for court, now it's a U.S. Marshal problem. So the U.S. Marshals are like, holy fucking shit, how do we get a hold of this guy? Because he has this guy by the name of Paul Harris, who's also with them, just a family friend. He's also up there with them on the cabin. So there's Samuel Weaver, Randy's youngest son, who's 14, Paul Harris, an adult, and Randy Weaver, and his two daughters, who are also armed, and Sarah Weaver, his wife, who's armed. And they're basically these people are always armed. They always have guns on them. How the fuck do we get a hold of this Randall Weaver guy and bring him off that mountain? And they're even talking to people around the areas. Do you know Randy? Can we just go up there? Nah, he'll shoot you. Don't do that. And they put up all this surveillance gear, motion activated cameras. They have the special surveillance squad from the U.S. Marshal Service are looking at him for about a full year. Until around summer of 1992, the Special Surveillance Squad goes up to what they call the Fork, where it basically goes up the mountain and towards the Weaver compound. And they're going to check in on cameras and everything, make sure everything's still up to date. And then they hear barking. The Weaver dog named Stryker hears some rustling going on. Stryker bolts right towards these three ATF guys, our U.S. Marshal guys, and a guy U.S. Marshal by the name of William Deegan shoots the dog, and just so happened to be that Samuel Weaver was right there behind the dog and allegedly said, "You son of a bitch, you shot my dog," and shoots Deegan dead. The other two agents return fire, kill Samuel. By that time, Paul and Randy Weaver arrive on the scene. They return fire, and both parties retreat to their respective areas. And then the FBI gets involved. A U.S. Marshal is dead. Now it's an FBI problem. The FBI comes in and says, normally we would give a surrender order for this, but a surrender order has already been given. Shoot on sight is the order that comes down. Any armed person is to be shot on sight from here on out. They set up the hostage rescue team, the HRT team, and that they post up, 100 meters away from the compound in any direction. And after a day, Randy and Paul and Sarah want to go down and check on Samuel Weaver's body and drag it back up to the shed where they can keep an eye on it. And when this happens, a FBI HRT sniper shoots at them, misses, and they immediately dart back into the compound. Sarah Weaver is holding the door open while holding their newborn daughter, which had just been born while they were evading capture up there on the mountain. And so this, little baby's not even a year old. She's holding open the door, and then the sniper shoots a second shot, shoots Sarah Weaver in the head, barely misses the baby. She collapses. Everybody makes it inside. Paul Harris is shot through his shoulder, collapses on the bed, and they get everybody inside. And the sniper never reports a hit. He only reports shots fired, both misses, or all three misses. And afterwards, the U.S. Marshal and FBI are saying, come down, Sarah, come down, kids. We're making pancakes and all that, trying to coax everybody out of there, not realizing that, Sarah Weaver's dead and rotting inside of the kitchen. And the kids basically watch their mother rot over the course of about a week while this standoff happens. And there's no communication from the Weavers to FBI. There's some questions about, do we want to do a full-on assault onto this compound, or what do we do? And eventually the hostage negotiator talks down all the higher-ups and says, I know a guy. There's a guy by the name of Bo Greitz who will negotiate on our behalf. Bo Greitz was basically the Alex Jones of his day, but with like actual charisma and not an asshole. If you ever listen to this guy talk, he sounds like super friendly, like really nice. So you're like, I can have a beer with this guy. His politics probably a little, but he's like, he doesn't have this like gravelly voice. He's not like super bombastic like Alex Jones, where he's like banging his fist and like screaming at people. He's like super nice and like level-headed. And he says, you know what, guys in Washington, we just gotta, everybody's just got to, the guys in Washington, they just got to turn their brain off. We just got to go up there and we just have to talk to them. And Bo Greitz was a Green Beret. Randy Weaver was a Green Beret. And Bo Greitz essentially talks to the FBI team and says, let me just walk up there and let me just talk to him. And they say, we cannot guarantee your safety if you do that. Bo Greitz just says, yeah, I know. I'll just do it anyway. Goes up, stands on top of a rock right next to the compound, and just says, Randall Weaver, this is Bo Greitz. Do you know who I am? And then Randy Weaver pokes his head up over a windowsill and says, is that you, Bo? And he's like, yeah, it's me standing on top of this rock. And they go back and forth, explain what's going on. And Bo Greitz goes back down to the FBI team and says, y'all really fucked this one up. Y'all shot Sarah Weaver. She's dead. And all the people down by the road where the checkpoint was to go up to the FBI checkpoint erupt in like this massive protest. People screaming at FBI agents, ATF agents, throwing rocks. At one point, a group of people who are armed have a truck full of supplies that try to blow through the checkpoint and almost run over a couple of federal agents and shit.
Hey, Slap, I gotta correct something real quick. Vicky Weaver was the wife.
Vicky Weaver, yeah.
Sarah was one of the daughters.
Sarah was his oldest daughter. That's right. Yes, right. You got it. Yeah.
Fact checking. Damn. Got your ass.
I'm just sniped though, holding a baby.
Yeah,
like,
there's like true. There's a fun fact about the sniper I want to get into later when Slap's done with the story. But go on.
I'll get to that when the time comes.
Oh no.
Yeah, but Cody's right. I got the name wrong. Sarah Weaver was the oldest daughter. She still gives out interviews and stuff. Mm-hmm. The rest of the Weaver family does not. Yeah, but they're like, yeah, you killed Vicky Weaver, and the whole like attitude of the FBI like sours, and basically Bo Greitz goes up there and says, hey, the Harris is dying of his wounds. If you don't give up Harris too, and Harris dies up there, we will charge you with accessory to homicide because you're responsible for that. If you give yourself up now, I have a U.S. attorney who will represent you with a plea of not guilty and a plea of self-defense. That sounds good enough for Randy. He believes in Bo Greitz, and he and his daughters give up the fight, and they come out of the compound. And Sarah Weaver, his oldest daughter, basically said she expected to be shot the moment she walked outside. And thankfully, they weren't. They were escorted down, put in a Chevy Suburban, and driven to the Boise State Federal courthouse to be arraigned and all that. Some court cases come down. Randy Weaver is found guilty of not appearing in court, but they basically give him time served and all that. They give him a wrongful death suit for his son and his wife. I think around $6.5 million for both of them. So that's what the feds say a dead wife and a dead son are worth. And basically, the entire opinion about the ATF, the FBI, sours over the course of a few months. And everybody's pissed off. And just so happens to be, there is a young man up in Michigan named Timothy McVeigh, who has just been discharged from the Army, washed out of Ranger School, who watches all of this happen. And
allegedly.
And an anger starts boiling within him, which will lead to a flame which starts in a little place called Waco, Texas.
Jesus Christ.
So in 1993...
DT, we're not.
I just want to put this out there. I don't know.
We just got like a third of the way done.
We're not even halfway, DT.
This is a spark that which lit a flame, which led to a blown inferno. Let's go.
I don't know if I want to put this on my channel.
Put it on my channel.
Jesus Christ.
You can show the pictures of the
Okay,
countdown.
no, maybe we put it on like
video.
a secret, like monetary base, like private, like I don't know. I'm just.
This would be good content to hide behind a paywall.
Yeah, make the
We gotta
kids
make
pay
money
like
off
$10
this
minimum.
Put this on the Patreon.
So there's this guy by the name of Vernon Howell. He's a failed musician in LA, and his band just doesn't make it. He's trying to make it with other bands. Nothing ever happens. So he goes back to his religious roots with the Branch Davidians, who have been a spin-off of the Seventh-day Adventist Church out in Texas for about 100 years. That's what he was born and raised as. So he goes back to the Branch Davidian compound, and there's another guy that's like running the compound for a second, and Vernon changes his name to David Koresh, and he gets in his head that he knows what's better for this religious sect than that guy does. And there's a big disagreement. He eventually gets shunned from the compound, David does, and finds out there's a number of people that still follow him, even though he's been shunned from the compound. He returns to the compound with his group armed. They have a shootout with the head guy. Hundreds of rounds are exchanged. Probably about a dozen people are injured. Nobody dies. This goes up in front of a Texas courthouse, and it's a wash. Case dismissed. Nobody can agree on who shot first. And the head of the Branch Davidians steps down, and David Koresh takes his place. And he starts talking about, the end times are coming. We got to arm ourselves. We got to wait for doomsday. The 7 seals of the scroll are going to be unveiled, and all this crazy shit. The FBI is very interested in doomsday prophets at this point, because in the 1980s there was a doomsday militia called the Covenant, the Sword, and the Arm of the Lord, who were into this doomsday prophecy type of stuff. And they thought that end times were coming. Well, eventually end times didn't come, so they wanted to make them come. So they tried to blow up a pipeline. That didn't quite pan out. So the FBI shut down the Covenant, the Sword, and the Arm of the Lord pretty quick. But now they're on high alert for like these doomsday cult types. That combined with the white nationalist type of people up there in Idaho has them on high alert. They're looking for some slam dunk case where they can rebuild their image. They're looking for just some way where they can say, hey, we're still the good guys. There's still bad guys afoot. You still need us, right? And it comes to their attention that David Koresh is buying about 600 firearms a year. And there are reports coming from the compound that, hey, we hear fully automatic rifle fire off in the distance. And then one of my brethren, a UPS man, is making a delivery to the compound. And he has a box which has the bottom fall out on it, and out come a bunch of grenades.
Jesus.
And he puts them back in the box, tapes it up, marks it as damaged package, calls up the ATF, and says, "Hey, I got some people here ordering some grenades through the mail, so you might want to check this out." The ATF get a guy on the inside who can basically confirm all of this stuff. Like, they got automatic rifles, they have grenades, explosives. These people are obviously up to no good. The head of the ATF, based out of Little Rock, Arkansas, get a plan put together where they're going to have 2 teams in cattle trailers, and they're going to bring them in undercover, because their undercover guy says on weekdays, all the men are outside working on this underground bunker that they're constructing. And there's a arms room on the 2nd floor of the compound. We can roll up in there, lock off the arms room, and disarm all of the men. All the women will be inside, and we can disarm them easily. And this will be a slam dunk, no contest. We got this in the bag. They even go so far as to leak this plan to the local news team in Waco, Texas. This would be the first big fuck up of the raid, because 2 news guys take off. One guy makes it to Mount Carmel, where the compound is, with no issue. The other guy gets lost. He asks a rural mail carrier with the U.S. Postal Service, "Hey, do you know how to get to Mount Carmel?" Guy says, "Oh yeah, you take this over here, then that, and then you get to Mount Carmel. By the way, why the hell are you trying to go to that Seventh-day Adventist compound?" TV guy says, "Oh, there's supposed to be some big raid there today, where I just want to get it on camera for the news station." Mail guy says, "Oh, okay," sends him on his way. Immediately books it for the next house over, asks to use their phone, calls up the Branch Davidians, because he is the son of the second in command of the Branch Davidians at the compound.
Dude. I didn't know that, dude.
Damn.
So now the Branch Davidians know there's a raid coming. The guy on the inside calls up the ATF agents and says, "They know you're coming. You have lost the element of surprise." The guy in the cattle trailer who's leading the whole assault calls up the guys in Little Rock and says, "They know we're coming. It's over. Let's just go blow past them. Do this some other time." They say, "No, this has to be done today." These are the arms of
That always
bureaucracy.
goes well.
Just deciding, like, fuck it, we got to do it today. It's got to happen today. Well, it just turned out there was a 3rd element of the raid, where a U.S. Army National Guard helicopter was supposed to make a low pass over the compound to distract everybody, so they would look up. That way, when the cattle trailers came in, people just wouldn't be paying attention to the cattle trailers in the parking lot. Well, that just confirms to the Branch Davidians what's about to happen. So they go inside and they arm themselves with fully automatic AK-47s and hand grenades. And as soon as the trailers unload, the shooting starts.
Jesus Christ.
So a 2-hour-long firefight erupts. 4 ATF agents are dead. 6 Branch Davidians are dead. There's a 911 operator out in Waco, Texas, who actually negotiates a ceasefire between both parties. David Koresh is talking to him, being like, "Oh, these guys, why they got to act so big all the time? Why are they, doing this?"
Are those bullet holes up by the window?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There's one of the cattle trailers as well. They transported the dudes in.
Holy shit.
And so they basically negotiate a ceasefire so they can get all the wounded out. And there's one ATF agent who fell into a ditch after taking a hand grenade to the face. And he's laying in that ditch, and he has like what he described as a coffee cup full of blood coming out of his vest every time he tried to move. And he just heard a voice that said, "Get up, dude, get up, or else you're going to die." And so he stood up, and then a Branch Davidian came in, pointed an AK-47 at him, and 2 of his ATF guys came in and tried to pick him up. And the Branch Davidian guy has his gun on him, and they say, "Hey, we're unarmed. We're just trying to get our guy." And they picked him up, put him on top of the Ford Bronco, where the TV guy had rolled in on and offered to be an ambulance. They put him up on the roof. The guy who actually planned the whole thing is put up on the hood, wrapped up in a blanket. He's been shot, and they roll all these guys out. And thus begins the 50-day siege. So they have some back and forth. They're like, hey, just evacuate all the kids. They eventually do that. And then David Koresh says, give me the give me a radio broadcast where I can reveal the 7 seals of the Book of Revelations or whatever, and then I'll give myself up. FBI is like, all right, sure, we'll give you the radio time. He does that and says, all right, you're gonna give yourself up, right? He says, no, I had another revelation. And so then the FBI is like completely done. They cut the power to the building. They cut all the phone lines. They start blasting music at the compound, flashlights, floodlights going back and forth. Nancy Sinatra's These Boots Are Made for Walking starts blaring over the loudspeakers. The sounds of rabbits being slaughtered is being blared out there. Gregorian monk chants. Anything they can do to fuck these people up, they start doing. And they post up FBI snipers all over the place. Some of these guys are the same HRT guys who did the Ruby Ridge scene. The guy who actually shot Vicky Weaver is also there. Although he doesn't say that he shot anybody, some people find spent rifle rounds next to his gun, and it's assumed that he shot some people who are trying to get away from the compound.
That man's name is Lan Horiuchi.
Yeah.
I botched that pronunciation. Yeah, that's the sniper that killed Vicky Weaver.
Yeah,
so I would have said that man's name out loud, dude.
Oh, everybody knows him. Timothy McVeigh actually sold calling cards saying that for bounties for anybody who could kill him.
I stuttered that on purpose so it didn't get picked up by the voice recognition.
Oh no, we're already fucked.
Yeah, we're already fucked. So anyway, the FBI's had enough of this. Eventually, a new piece of intel comes down that, there's actually like ritual child abuse going on inside of the compound. Kids are being diddled by David Koresh. And then the word comes from the top of the Secretary of State, Janet Yellen, I think was her name at the time, under Bill Clinton. And she agrees that, we're supposed to go in, guns blazing, tear gas, get these guys out of there, break down the compound with M60 tanks that have battering rams attached to them, tear down the walls, put tear gas in there, and basically tear down the compound and let's see what happens. Problem is the compound caught on fire. Allegedly, there was an incendiary round fired by one of the FBI agents that caught the whole compound on fire. Again, this is a recurring theme.
Why does FBI have incendiary rounds?
That's a good question, but they did find spent shell casings from larger cannons that said incendiary only. And that caught the whole compound on fire. I think it was like 70 adults, several children died inside. A few people made it out alive. But while all this is happening, there is Timothy McVeigh is there, probably a few miles away on top of a bluff where he could see all this happen. And he says, he was selling bumper stickers, anti-government bumper stickers at the time. He ends up going back home with his friend up in Michigan and sees the final siege happen on TV. And he says a blinding rage took over him, and he knew he had to act. And this is where we get into the final act of this crazy ass moment in history.
Act 3.
A veteran's vendetta.
Jesus. 76 people died in that fire, by the way.
76, yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
And they're just posing over the burnt out compound. These FBI agents
just posed. There's actually a skeleton in the rubble there somewhere.
There's
Jesus.
There's 25 dead children in that rubble, according to Wikipedia. And these are people proudly posing over it.
Not Dave Chipman, by the way.
Sure.
Oh boy.
So anyway, people love the FBI.
Yeah, so this sours the public's opinion of the ATF and the FBI even more. There are groups of militiamen that pop up all over the country after this. If they weren't a big problem before, they are now. Timothy McVeigh gets with a buddy of his, Terry Nichols, who was in the Army with him. They get with a third guy who was in the Army with him. He's living in Kingman, Arizona at the time. And they concoct a plan to do revenge against the federal government. In the book, The Turner Diaries, which we talked about before, is like Timothy McVeigh's favorite book. There's like some, a big climactic event where they bomb a federal building with a truck full of fuel oil and fertilizer. Well, Timothy McVeigh, he doesn't have access to that much fuel oil, but he does have several Shell credit cards that are linked to Shell companies. He's got a calling card, which is just paid for in cash. And he starts concocting some stuff because Terry Nichols has a farm and he's able to buy as much fertilizer as he wants, no questions asked. This is the ammonia nitrate special type of fertilizer that you're not allowed to buy anymore. And they start buying about 7 tons of it, for farming equipment. They start up a racing team to buy as much nitromethane racing fuel as they can get. About
is that a real thing?
Dude, I did not know that.
They start up a fake racing team. This is gonna be on Liars, Thieves, and Lawyers next time, by the way. Buy up as much nitromethane racing fuel as they can get, about 270 gallons.
Jesus.
And
I never knew that.
The week before the 2-year anniversary of Waco, they decide this is bomb making day. They rent a U-Haul truck out of Junction City, Kansas.
No, was it a U-Haul?
That was a Ryder truck. That's right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you gotta get that right.
The Ryder. I of all people should know this. They get a Ryder truck out of Junction City, Kansas, load up with 7 tons of fertilizer, about 300 tons of nitromethane racing fuel. They had stolen some Tovex blasting sausages for basically plastic sausage TNT blocks to give it a bigger kick. Several boxes of nails, kerosene, anything they could pack in that truck. And the diagram of this truck bomb had been made with a cardboard box and cans of Campbell's soup. That was how they constructed it, to make a sort of shaped charge pointing one direction out of the truck. And Timothy McVeigh, he was in the U.S. Army. He was in the armored division that went first into the Gulf War, into Iraq. And he actually scored a 1-mile-long kill with his 25-millimeter Bradley cannon, a headshot on an Iraqi soldier. And so that got him all these medals and everything. But he said at that moment he felt like he was the biggest tyrant, the biggest bully in the world, because here was this guy who he didn't know from Adam or Eve that was just trying to defend his country, and all of this shattered any illusions he might have had before that. Tries out for Ranger School, he washes out. He tries to get a job after that, can't get a job. He's hanging out with Terry Nichols in Michigan, and he's just completely lost. But all this starts happening. All these anti-government, incitement starts getting to him, and he builds this bomb. And he gets with Terry Nichols and he says, "All right, let's go. We've picked out a spot. We've scoped out several places. The Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City is the prime target, because the people who orchestrated the Waco siege were based out of Little Rock, but they've transferred to Oklahoma City." And Terry Nichols says, "Well, let's do it on a Sunday when nobody's there." Timothy McVeigh says, "No, we have to have a body count. They can always build another building. We have to have a body count." Jesus. Terry Nichols says, "I'm out." Timothy McVeigh says, "If you rat me out, I'll fucking kill you." Terry Nichols says, "All right, whatever. I'll drop off your getaway vehicle, but I'm not going to have any part of this." So he nopes out, drops off the getaway vehicle, goes back to his farm. The day comes. Timothy McVeigh takes off from the Starland Hotel in Kansas with his Ryder truck. When he gets inside the city, gets a few blocks away, lights a 5-minute fuse, gets there, parks at a loading dock, lights a 2-minute fuse, gets out, walks away. Once he's about a block away, he breaks out into a jog because he said nobody would see him at that point, and then kaboom. I think about 250 people died in the blast and the ensuing collapse of the building. The initial blast hit a daycare, which was on the first floor.
Shit.
That's fucked up.
I said there was about a swimming pool, an Olympic swimming pool sized hole in the road that was left from the truck. There was one doctor who was called up on his day off to go get a woman who was trapped in the rubble that had her leg pinned, and he was called in to do an amputation on her. And there was a guy there who basically had his hand up next to an I-beam. He said if he felt the tremor, they had to leave. And then they get the call, everybody evacuate, there's a secondary hot device. That doctor did not leave. He continued the amputation, tied off a tourniquet, got the woman out, even though there's nobody left there, got her out by himself, and it turned out that hot device they had found was a fake bomb made by the ATF to show what a fake, improvised explosive would look like that had fallen out of the building. So they thought that was a secondary bomb.
Oh, jeez.
Once that was deemed clear, they go back in there and they get as many people as they can. A piece of rubble falls on one woman who's working there and she dies, and that raises the body count even further. However,
it was parked like right in the road, like right next to the building there. Like right where all the rubble is. Damn. Yeah, that was like couldn't be any closer to that if you tried. Fuck.
Dude, look at the cars that were across the street.
Just got blown to the left.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So Timothy McVeigh was about 2.5, 3 blocks away. His getaway vehicle was, which was like a 1970 Mercury Grand Marquis, which didn't have a license plate on it. Of all the planning they didn't have a fake license plate for this thing. He makes it all the way to North Oklahoma, gets stopped by an Oklahoma State trooper for no license plate. The trooper notices a bulge underneath his t-shirt. He says, "Is that a gun?" Timothy McVeigh says, "Yeah, it is." And Timothy McVeigh gives himself up without a shot, without any fight or anything. And he sits in a jail for a few days. And the search is now on for the Oklahoma City bomber. Everybody thinks this is like some foreign terrorist event. You know, the World Trade Center bombing had just happened. Everybody thinks this is like some Middle Eastern plot. They find the axle of the Ryder truck with the HIN number actually imprinted on confidential HIN number printed on the axle, and they track that down to Junction City, Kansas. They find a name, Bob Kling is the name on it. Turned out that was a guy that Timothy McVeigh had served with in the Army. They didn't know that at the time, but they then used that to say, hey, is there anybody who's filed into any of these hotels in the area by the name of Bob Kling? A lady says, yeah, there was a guy who said his name was Bob Kling. And they say, hey, can we have the itinerary of guests? And he had accidentally signed his name, Timothy McVeigh, next to the printed name Bob Kling. So now they're looking for Timothy McVeigh. They find a picture of him from his service in the Army. They find another photo surveillance of him at a McDonald's, right before the bombing and everything. And they find out he's sitting in a detention cell at some random podunk outpost in North Oklahoma for driving without a license and having a concealed firearm without a permit. They say, put a hold on him. They talk to him and they say, do you know why we're here? He says, yeah, I assume this is something that has to do with the Oklahoma City bombing. And basically he admits to everything. They thought there might have been a second person involved. They eventually find Terry Nichols. They find the third guy out in Arizona in Kingman who basically flipped on him for, I think he spent 10, 15 years in prison. He's out now, but under witness protection with a different name. But Terry Nichols is in Supermax prison in Colorado right now. And Timothy McVeigh was put to death in summer of 2001.
And that's how it ends.
Allegedly.
Is that it? Is that the end?
That is the end of the Oklahoma City bombing and everything that led up to it.
That's probably got to be the longest slaps craziest moment in history. Yeah.
Jesus. That was a saga, man. Oh my
DT,
god.
there's a lot more questions about that event, the final event, that we didn't get into.
How deep does the rabbit hole go, DT?
Yes. Yeah, we could go another hour on some questions.
That's why,
we
Slap,
have.
you gotta like make that into a like 3-video series. Everything
Slap,
that you did tonight,
one video
whittle
series
it
like
down.
an hour and a half long, man.
Oh
Well,
my
All
god.
right, to keep it a little light, Slap, are you familiar with like the extra leg, the unidentified leg they found in the rubble?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about the extra leg. I assume there were lots of legs in the rubble.
Yeah, but they tied them to the actual people. Second question. I should probably not ask any more questions. I'll leave it at that.
Slap, true or false? I read some sort of fun fact. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't exactly find what I read the first time I was reading about this a while ago. But wasn't the dude the sniper who blasted Vicky Weaver like a couple decades later, like sponsored by an ammo or like gun manufacturing company or some shit?
I
You know what
don't
I'm
know
talking
about. I don't know about that, but I do know that at several gun shows there were people like that would post his like actual home address and shit and put up bounties on him. So if you were an ammo company, I don't think that would be your spokesman. I think that'd be get the opposite reaction of what you wanted.
I gotta see if I can find that.
Good enough for HRT snipers to snipe a pregnant woman out of a window. Good enough for you. She wasn't pregnant, but yeah, close enough.
Was the ATF based out of that building by any chance, Slap?
They had several branch offices all over the place. The branch office that did the Waco thing was in Little Rock. They had transferred to Oklahoma City.
Okay. I didn't know if they were in that building because I heard some like alleged stories about whether the officers were in the building or not that day.
Yeah, they were located in the 9th floor.
Okay.
They had like IRS was there, the Marine Corps was there, recruitment site. They had, I think water and electric federal things were there, like all kinds of bureaucratic bullshit. It was called the federal building for a reason. Like every federal bureaucracy was there in every level.
Cody might appreciate this. One of the alleged stories of the two agents that were in the building that day, one of the guys used his mixed martial arts abilities to karate chop through walls and escape. The other guy was in an elevator.
Did he surf a slab?
He surfed a slab all the way to the bottom and then like rescued people the rest of the day. So those are some interesting stories from
He just
that
rode
day.
that wave all the way down. He just
Also, do we know what happened to the body of Timothy McVeigh after he was
Yeah, he was put into a 737 and flown into the World Trade Center.
That's oh my god. Okay, that's
We know where you were going with this, Rusty. We know where you were going. I just got there before you thought I would.
Oh no. All right, next. All right, well, how do we segue into the next?
I was gonna say he got buried at sea.
We
Ceremonious.
Dude, Cody, they
They
cremated
buried
him
him
like
at sea next to Osama.
They gave him a respectful at sea burial.
cremated him behind closed doors, like.
Holy
No,
crap, I think
no
we need to move
autopsy,
on
no,
before.
no.
All right, if any of us disappear in the next week, you know
We
why.
have no Animal Planet. There is no Animal Planet. We're skipping this.
I think we're
Going
the
straight into
animals.
fan mail.
Well, what if the fans are animals? Who said that?
I just wanted to do something to get out of whatever that was.
We gotta delete this.
We're all on a list. We're all on Thug Shaker Central right now.
What was that dude's
Jack the
nickname?
Dripper.
Yeah, Jack the Dripper. Can we talk about that real quick?
Talk about that on crazy ass moments on Twitter.com. Talking about CIA classified material on a Minecraft Discord for fucking clout.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Oh man.
I thought the Warhammer or the War Thunder message boards were pretty crazy.
This might convince me to set up the fucking plan for tomorrow just so I don't have to put this on my YouTube channel. Genuinely.
You don't want to put this on the Shrimp Master Plan or it'll ruin
They got me. Ah!
Well, DT.
They got me.
The comfortcy DT slap told the official narrative, so we're good. We're good.
Yeah, that helps.
I gave the Fed approved story.
We're just teaching a history lesson. We're just teaching what happened.
All right.
Can't be read on Wikipedia.
We don't have any animals this week. We got no animal content.
Nah, I was.
Can we give props to whatever racetrack you're at, Cody, for not having any animals?
34 Raceway and Davenport both were good nights, good weather, quick nights of racing, not too many cautions, no animalistic fans. Can't
Davenport
complain.
where? Iowa?
Correct. Yeah, I was there Friday night. Then Thursday night I was there, and then Friday night was 34 Raceway in West Burlington, Iowa, and then Saturday got rained out, so I headed home.
I'm going to Davenport in July.
You gotta tell me when you guys are in Iowa. I would totally go.
You're gonna drive
I'm gonna be there in
4.5 hours down there for a freaking dirt race.
Iowa isn't real.
That's fair.
It's a Slipknot album. It's
Rusty,
not
that
real.
West Burlington one, that was like southern Iowa. That would have been a far drive for you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking on a map.
Like
34
southwest
Raceway.
or south, or what are we talking here?
Southeast, like southeast is where
Ah,
West Burlington was.
okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Iowa's fascinating. They got a lot of different I don't know.
Dude,
They got a lot out there.
It's a pretty cool track.
I am fucking excited for July.
Should be excited for May, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited for May. Yeah,
well,
that's like 5 weeks.
we're gonna see if I'm participating
We'll
in that
get you there.
first.
Send in the money, guys.
Send it in, guys.
But I get to experience all of Iowa in July on a fucking bicycle.
You're gonna die of heat.
Why would you do
exhaustion
that and not go to
in
Indy in May?
July?
Dude, DT, it's a vibe.
I've been planning
You're
that
gonna love Iowa.
for longer, to be fair.
You're gonna love Iowa. They should just pick that in like April or May. Not actually, no. You would have died of a tornado if they did that in April.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true. It's gonna be gonna be hot,
September or something.
and it's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be a damn good time. All right.
April in Iowa is like September in Florida. It's like either hurricanes or tornadoes. Take your pick.
Tornado.
I got a question. We're like an hour 30 into this thing. Can I take a bathroom break and then we just like come back when I'm back?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're already editing this anyways.
No, just turn your camera off. We'll riff
Well,
while
yeah,
you're gone. That's
what I'm saying. Or do you want to just like continue?
It's gonna be a minute and a half. Let's just roast DT for a minute.
Yeah.
Just turn your camera off. We'll riff while you're gone. No need to pause.
Okay, all right. Can I tell you guys about the pettiest copyright claim I've ever gotten in my life?
Yes.
Okay, so I get this comment on my AK-74 video
saying like 200,000 views already.
Yeah, dude, it like popped off after like 5 days in. Like it did numbers. But like 10 days after it gets uploaded, it's already doing pretty well. I get some comment from some jackwagon who says, "Hey, you stole my content. You know, I want to be compensated for this, or else I'm going to do a copyright claim." You know, I think this is bullshit, but you know, I take the bait. I'm like, "What? Where?" That's literally my comment. What? Where? He didn't give me a timestamp or anything. Didn't tell me what it was, and he responds back like a day later. He says, "Oh, at like 8 minutes or something, there's a picture of an AKS. That's a picture from my thumbnail from 5 years ago." And I literally used that picture to illustrate what an AKS looks like for 6 seconds.
The content. Yes, you
for 6 seconds. Yes. And then I go back and I show all the variants of the AK-74 platform, and the AKS is like down in the corner for 4 seconds. This guy wants to do a copyright claim on 10 seconds of footage of a picture of his thumbnail. I would get it if I had used that thumbnail as my thumbnail. He has a case now. That is not the case. He wants to come after me for 15 minutes of footage. I used his picture for 10 seconds. And he says, like, how do we make this right, dude? How do we make this right? I was like, how do we? Who is we? Are you speaking fucking French?
Take the percentage, whatever 15 minutes is, whatever percentage of like 4 seconds of 15 minutes is, send him like that.
Oh, well,
Like, hey,
I fucking
made
ignored
$1,000 off the video. Here's $2.
I ignored him for a week, and he says, dude, if you don't respond to me, I'm going to have to do a copyright claim. I don't even think he can do a copyright claim. But I respond back to him. I was like, look,
Often.
I will give you a pinned comment with your photo credit there, or else I'll blur your photo out.
Yeah,
and then that'll be the end of it.
Yep.
And I'm still waiting for a response. So I'll just blur the photo out. If that's what it comes to, 10 seconds of footage. But if that motherfucker copyright claims me, I'll take the whole fucking video down. I'm not giving that motherfucker a goddamn dime.
No, blur the photo, and then just I have a pinned comment in the comments, be like, sorry for the blur. Some dumb was like threatening to copyright me over a cropped little picture I used for 4 seconds.
I gotta say that the copyright claims on YouTube, like the people that are doing it like nefariously or whatever their motivation is, those people need to be held accountable, to say it lightly. Those people need to go. They gotta go.
Meanwhile,
if this was 2014, I'd name drop the guy, but this is YouTube today, so I'll get bought for bullying or whatever.
Well, yeah, you'll make a drama video about it and they'll demonetize your account.
Yeah. I would name drop him, but he's not like a nobody. He's got like 82,000 subscribers.
You just put your little face.
Dude.
You should put your face in the little corner and made it a reaction video. Then you could just literally do any copyright infringement you want, and YouTube's fine with it. Just literally just watch a fucking movie unedited. Just put your little face in the corner and just sit there and just.
Well, dude, I wanted to replace
a reaction.
I wanted to replace that little section with an edited, section with a different picture, but YouTube won't let you change, footage or whatever. You can blur or you can trim it out. You don't have any other option. So, yeah, that was the pettiest thing. It was like 10 days after upload. 8 minutes into the video, he finds 10 seconds of footage that has a picture of his thumbnail in like the center and then like in the corner, and like that's enough to trigger him to like pursue.
Jesus Christ! I turned on my camera and Discord crashed. Incredible! Wow. All right, we're gonna be back.
Dead.
Oh.
It's dead.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Discord for crashing when I turned my camera on. That's very cool.
We're still recording, right?
Yeah, we're still going.
Okay.
Just gotta. There we go. Oh.
Color together, chef showdown.
Yeah, what? How do I? Oh, there's a don't show me this again, but never clicked on that before. I just always see that and I'm getting pissed off.
This is why this is the last episode, everybody.
I want you to know I'm not editing
40,
anything, by the way. Yes, this is episode 40.
40.
All right. That was. Oh, we got to do the media check-in shit.
Media check-in, yeah.
Other than Slap getting copyright claimed, what else have we been doing? Any games? Any shows?
I watched a movie that was based as hell.
What was it?
Akira Kurosawa's last film.
What is that?
Right.
What is that?
Ran or Ran. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it translates into Japanese as Turmoil. This is like the last film he ever did, and it's the only film he did in color.
Ooh.
It has like this striking like pictures of like these rolling plains in Japan, and there's an aging warlord, and he has 3 sons, and they've all divided into warring factions. They're all color coded too, so there's like blue, yellow, and red. And he names his oldest son as his heir, who is to take place of all of his affairs while he's aging and everything. If you go to that center right hand picture with all the guys lined up there in the field, yeah, that's the one. Those are his 3 sons.
There's 6 dudes there.
Yellow, red, and blue. Those are his 3 sons. The guys in the foreground are like rival warlords who want to marry their daughters off to like his eldest son and everything. So it's like Game of fucking Thrones before Game of Thrones was a thing. People go mad with power. Family members turn on each other. Brothers kill each other. You know, their wives are conniving in the background. You know, trying to settle blood feuds from decades ago. You know, there's this one woman named Cody who makes Cersei Lannister look like a fucking kitten in comparison. This woman is like sheer fucking evil, and court gestures are like going insane in the background. Men die by the thousands. There's these battles that look like they were filmed on the surface of the moon and everything on these like barren landscapes. It is like strikingly beautiful, but also absolutely horrific. And the acting is amazing because you can actually turn subtitles off and you can actually understand through like body language. There's a lot of kabuki theater going on, like these over exaggerations and movements and all that, where you can kind of feel like what's going on and who has the power and who's betrayed by who based on like facial expressions and gestures alone. And I thought that was really cool. Like this could have been a silent film and you would have understood everything that happened. And so that is Akira Kurosawa's like greatest work. That is like, he also made the Seven Samurai, which is like the precursor to the Magnificent Seven, the Wild West film that everybody raves about. And this is actually loosely based off of Shakespeare's play King Lear. Oh. So if you've ever read or watched that play, this follows that very, very closely. So this is really, really, really good film.
Cool. Where can you watch it?
You can get it on DVD for like $9 on Amazon. And I'm sure you can pirate it from any number of places. But yeah, I got the Blu-ray in 1080p for like $8 on Amazon.
All right. I'm still
the colors are just so stunning because he used to like film in black and white where you had to like oversaturate everything to like tell who was what and all this other shit so you could like kind of tell colors in black and white. Yeah. So everything's like so stark and so bright. It's like really juxtaposes with the dark subject matter. It's fantastic.
That's what I'm noticing just from these screenshots is the colors are just super intense, but in like a cool stylistic way.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
They turn the vibrance and the saturation slider up.
Looks sick though.
It really does look like they turned up saturation and turned contrast up, which is,
dude,
it makes it look like it was filmed in 1987. It makes it look like it was filmed in like the 60s.
I was gonna say, put that on a VHS. It'll be a
yeah, dude. It feels like ultra vibey. It feels way older than it actually is, which I really like.
Dude, look at this shot. Oh my god, that's sick.
Damn.
I'm just kind of trying to get Rusty to watch fucking Atlanta.
And again, because everything's like color coded, you don't have to know everybody's names, which is really cool in that movie.
I'll binge Atlanta before I go out to South Carolina, North Carolina.
I've rewatched the first 3 episodes, and I now want you to watch the first 3 episodes.
All right.
That's all I've done this week. I don't think I've done anything else interesting.
I rewatched Bo Burnham's Inside yesterday or today. I'm gonna rave about that forever, and you guys need to watch it on your own time. It's a work of art. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
It starts a little slow, but like once you get like 15-20 minutes into it, I swear it picks up.
I think my Gen Z brain
That's the thing.
dropped me off within the first 15 minutes, and I never made it further than that.
Yeah, you just need to sit down. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna spend the next hour and a half watching this, and just do it.
I have like some like one of those like satisfying videos like playing in the corner to keep your attention.
I need Minecraft parkour in the corner of the screen.
Yeah.
And then I'll be all right. Then I can get through the whole thing.
TikTok dances.
That's me with Cupid, like just
put her in the corner.
Speaking of which, Indie Fox is back this week, so shout out Indie Fox.
What's she doing now?
Trying not to get
like
banned for 2 years again.
All right.
Send
I'm the ban world.
Wash your fucking hands, slap. Send in your fucking mail.
Send them
Send them in, guys.
Wash your fucking hands, slap.
Speaking of Ben, he's live right now for Mooncar. It's the week of Mooncar, according to Travis. So tune in to Mooncar on Twitch.tv. And Ben, from his perspective,
Wash your fucking
Twitch.tv/TheBenCrazy.
Yeah. Is Travis gonna try and do that all week this week? Is this the week? I know he's been talking about it for a little while.
He just sent a tweet out. He said this is like National Mooncar Week or something.
Okay, yeah. He's gonna try and do it every night then. That's cool. Remember, if you want us to answer your questions or read out your comments, concerns, or anything that's not weird, send it to ShrimpHoursPresents@gmail.com. Whoa, moving my hand makes my camera go dark.
Imagine not setting your exposure manually and leaving it on auto.
Imagine your camera turning off every 30 minutes.
I have it set to auto on
Hey,
a specific spot right
when it's
here.
on.
I can make it do funny things.
It looks beautiful when it's on.
I gotta pay for the BeamNG server. I just got an email about that.
Oh, somebody used our email for that?
No. I'm checking my emails now.
Slap, you messed up your focus.
I want to put it out there. If you want to send them in, guys, send them in before Monday night, because we're now recording these things on Monday nights. So if you send stuff on Tuesdays, we won't get it until the next week.
Yeah.
Which I think Andrew just learned because he sent in a couple things on Tuesday. So our good friend down under, Andrew R, says,
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at Slap's focus.
He's trying to focus it.
God damn it.
His focus got messed up ever since he put his hat in
there you
front
go.
of him.
There you go. Andrew says, this Easter weekend I drove 1,000 kilometers or 637 miles from Sydney to Toowoomba in southern Queensland to see sprint car racing.
Based.
Lachlan McHugh won the weekend, which is a very Australian name. I guess that's like a Scottish
name. He did
name.
the 10,000 kilometers or 1,000 kilometers of Bathurst, basically.
Yeah, just to get to a sprint car race. And Andrew asks, what is the furthest you would drive to see podunk racing? And how un-podunk does it have to be before you'll commit to hundreds of miles? Thank you from Andrew R. P.S. In the entire weekend, he drove 3,333 kilometers, almost exactly.
I can't remember.
Cody's driven a long-ass time to go to some
He
races.
didn't drive for podunk racing. He had to be there for a job.
Yeah, he got paid for it. I'm talking about on your own.
Well, he drove to Daytona, which is not podunk, but Cody.
Yeah.
I mean, I technically was at Volusia too.
Yeah, he did go to Volusia, yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't
no, that doesn't count.
Drive for the dinky track.
Yeah, I'm talking you're just sitting in your house and you go, hey, what's local this weekend? How far are you going to drive?
Rusty, you've driven a good distance.
4 or 5 hours, probably.
For just random races.
Well, I mean, for NASCAR, yeah, but as far as local shit,
I guess not local shit, because local shit is usually
shit,
local.
Yeah, local shit's 90 minutes max. But yeah, if it's NASCAR, I'll drive 12 to 18 hours. I'll do what I gotta do.
14-hour drive.
Yeah. I mean, I drove 2.5 hours to Florence a couple of weeks back, and driving down to Sumter this coming weekend that's 2.5 hours also.
Yeah, what's the longest distance for your short track tour that you have to drive?
That I have to drive, not fly, would be South Alabama Speedway. That was 6.5 hours away.
Whoa.
That race was a fucking banger, though, dude. Ty Majeski won pole, and then some Central Florida Roofing was a company that said, it was $25,000 to win. We'll pay an extra $10,000
if you start
you won pole. Start in the back, and you also win. We'll pay an extra $10,000, so it'll be $35,000 to win.
Yeah, I almost got that.
And it came 9 laps short. 9 fucking laps short.
That's what
the one that Bubba Pollard.
Yeah.
That's what Parker and Landon do for the firecracker. You get extra money if you qualify on pole, start from the rear, and then win it. So yeah, good question. And I guess the to answer how unpodunk does it need to be is NASCAR.
But the furthest
where I live,
I've
I got
driven,
3 options. So
I know it's work, but the one I did a few weekends ago going down to Kansas, that was 30 hours of driving round trip. I mean, that was my backup work plans because it was supposed to be the Illini 100 in Farmer City in Illinois first. That got rained out. Then it was supposed to be Davenport. No, Lucas Oil Speedway down in Wheatland, Missouri. That got rained out. They're like, well, we can send you down to Kansas for one day. It's like, sure.
Oh, that's the longest you've driven for one day.
For basically, yeah, just like a one-off just work thing. Because I don't mind driving far, but that's like going to Eldora and staying there for like 6 days, or going down to New Mexico and staying there for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Not just one day, do my shoot and then come back.
Also, Andrew sent an email about that sick Eric Jones car that ran last weekend, the like black and gold thing, that one.
Yeah.
And sent us a bunch of other black and gold cars, most notably the John Player Special, the F1 car, which looks sick.
Oh, the Aaron Senna car, yeah.
Yeah.
I have that in Grand Theft Auto 5.
But he says in the 1930 Indy 500, Wilbur Shaw raced a black and gold fucking car, but I don't know.
1935.
What about
Indy 500?
Smokey Unick's black and gold number 13?
How did they know?
But to me, that just looks like it's black and white. So
yeah, colors didn't exist back then. What are they talking about?
Oh my God. Okay, Keegan sent a fat email. What?
Oh, nothing. I was just.
Oh, it was a black and white.
Out my terrible joke. Yeah.
Okay, Keegan writes in, just listening to Rusty rant on about the Wolves in episode 39. Rusty's got the Twins and the Wolves covered. I'll stick with the Wild and the Vikings. Anyway, about rivalries. What is one rivalry in any sport you want to see, and what's the best rivalry in any sport you've ever seen?
Well, let me just jump in real quick. We're going to Memphis. I'm picking Eddie up. Wolves are going all the way.
So what happened? What happened in game 1 there, Rusty?
I don't want to talk about game 1. I want to talk about what happened last year's playoffs. The Wolves and the Grizzlies. The Wolves had it bag. We had it in the bag, and I just want to say, destiny. I thought was going to happen when we were supposed to beat the Lakers, but now we have to go through Denver to get to Memphis. But now John Morant broke his wrist. I don't know. Destiny might be on hold. I'm just saying, I'm going to Memphis and I'm picking up Eddie.
Greatest rivalry I've ever seen is the Packers in the last 10 years versus having deep playoff success. Anytime a Kevin King or a Brandon Bostic or a coin that doesn't flip happen.
yeah, Cody versus the Packers is like.
I'm fucking excited because playoff hockey started tonight.
Yeah,
but the Leafs are playing tomorrow night against the Lightning, who are kind of down on numbers. They're actually missing a lot of dudes, so hopefully we can plow through them and then get fucked on by Boston in the second round.
Speaking of which, I'm not a big hockey fan, but some of my IRL buddies are. And this Wild versus Stars game is for blood. It's all for blood. Is it
on right now?
It's on for It's 2-2 with 4 minutes to go in the second period, and it's for blood.
Ooh,
I have to do a shrimp watch for that.
Yeah, I was about to say, we'll watch that right
from the Minnesota's perspective. They took our team, they kept our name, and it's for blood. It's for blood.
Keegan also added a little story because we
didn't ask me.
I ask everyone. It's your job to speak up.
You were going in turn. You didn't ask me. Number one rivalry in all of South Carolina sports: the University of South Carolina versus the University of Clemson. College football, an ongoing rivalry since 1896, only interrupted in the year 2020 by COVID.
Damn.
South Carolina's been getting their ass whooped, but one year we beat their asses 5 years in a row. 5 years in a row.
Damn.
And that was the year of Fear the Thumb, baby.
Fear the Thumb.
Sure.
And we got their asses. We ruined their national championship playoff hopes. It's the greatest thing ever. South Carolina had a winning record 5 years in a row. They've never done it since. Never done it before. Yeah.
I very often fear slaps.
I love it. I love it.
Fear the Thumb.
Fear the Thumb. 5 in a row, baby.
The unwashed thumb.
Unwashed
An oil
fingies.
check.
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely fear Slap's thumb.
Oil check.
The Gamecocks versus the Tigers.
It's funny that they're called the Gamecocks.
Hey, I just want to see the Gamecocks go up against a bowl game against the Oregon State Beavers. That way the Cocks can really give it to the Beavers in overtime.
Keegan added on a little.
60-0 against the Beavers.
Keegan added a story.
420 yards on the ground.
Bruh. Keegan added a story since we talked about nosebleeds last week. And he told a story about how he bled for 50 minutes straight during class after going to a Tool concert. So shout out. And also says, P.S. The show that Caleb hosted, I asked if Ed was okay. And Ed did show up, but since then he's been dead. I hope he gets better, and go Brad.
He's dead.
Well, I heard there's a path for him to come back.
There's rumors.
He's got to get this video out. If he doesn't get the video out, then he's dead.
Okay, the next.
That's what the mob boss told me. If he doesn't get this video out and he doesn't pay off the mob boss, he's dead.
The next email comes
We're going
from
to Memphis, and then he'll be back.
the next email comes from Zoe 1012. It is no subject, and it reads, a family member of mine had a hernia and died during surgery. So yeah, good luck, Slap. Sent from my Verizon Samsung Galaxy smartphone.
The short track tour is over. It's over.
Oh my god. We'll be seeing you.
Dude, if I turn surgery, the next episode has to be Slap's dead.
That was definitely Caleb.
That was
definitely a
100%,
Caleb burner.
yeah, dude.
I just like sent from my Verizon Samsung Galaxy smartphone just to bring it all together.
All right, if I actually do die, you guys have to carry on without me. That's my dying wish. I'm putting that in the will.
We have to make the Waco truck bomb video.
Yes, complete with diagram. Made with Campbell's soup cans.
We got another email, Mr. Ass, written in this morning with the subject line, I can't believe Slap's dead. Mr. Ass says, I went to Martinsville and I was really excited to see Slap, but the ball tumor got him. Hashtag rip bozo.
The ball.
I'm dead. The shrimp adjacents, the emails have declared that I'm dead. I'm dead man walking.
Jack writes in, he says, I'm on episode 36. I'm almost there, guys. Yeah, you're catching up. Shame I'll never catch up since this is the last episode. It's true. Anyways, let's talk about fuck fan mail. Let's talk about man fail. What's the stupidest thing you've seen someone do in public? Most likely at a Walmart. Wash your fucking hand, Slap. Hope Ed's still alive. From Jack.
Well, I got to speak on this topic. I saw Slap tweet about it today.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the shopping carts.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is a certain level of, I don't even know what you call it. And if you can't meet the minimum bar of returning your cart, you gotta go. Your whole family, your lineage, extinct.
Deport them.
Jesus Christ.
No,
You being sent to Brazil.
No,
Jesus.
I'm telling you, just like Thanos, I'm out of fucking, like, dude, you're all gone. Because Slap.
You do not understand the importance of self-governance. You are worthy of neither pity nor mercy.
It's one of the things me and my buddy always laugh about when we go down to the south.
House.
Dude, the funniest one I ever saw was a Publix, and they sent these carts off into like a gator pit, and it's like some poor like 16-year-old's got to go like at like 10 p.m. in the night into the pond and like pull the carts out. It's like
it's like trailer park.
Yeah,
Boys,
yes,
it's
yes.
Bubbles.
The fucking
Yes.
carts down
This
the
is a
hill.
fucking nice
One of
shopping
the
cart
greatest
right
things
here.
of all time. But I'm telling you,
Somebody fucking
Dude, I
pushed it
went to
down
the
the hill.
Walmart 2 days ago, like where the cars park, where there's like 2 in and like 2 this
Yes.
way, where it makes like a 4 square. There was a cart parked in the middle
yes.
of the 4.
One of my
guys need-
favorites is
These people need to be euthanized.
Yes.
the-
Yes, dude. And it's always within like 5 feet of the corral. Just push it.
Yes, it's always right there. You lazy fat fuck. You lazy fat fuck. You piece of shit.
The ones that make me pop are when they push it over a curb into a bush. It took more effort to
to lift
curb
it, like
to
just
lift
put
it
it.
in.
Just took it to the rack. It's literally right there.
Yeah.
It's usually like 10 feet away. You fucking animal. That's the real Animal Planet.
You guys
These
need
people
to
do
come to.
not deserve to vote. These people are animals. They need to be marched off to camps.
They need to be re-educated. You guys need to come to my. No. I've been silenced. You guys need to come to.
woke Bob.
You guys need to come to my neighborhood, where it's such a lovely neighborhood, and there's so many bubbles out there that are just stealing shopping carts just rampantly.
Repurpose.
That you literally need to put in a quarter to take a shopping cart,
dude.
and then when you put it back, you'll get a
You
quarter
get your
back.
quarter back. Yep. You can tell the like worst neighborhoods around here. It's $1, not even a quarter. You gotta put in a loony. We actually have like
bubbles.
my local store has the opposite problem where they don't have. I guess they just don't have enough people like bringing the carts back to the store. But people like they just get so lazy because there's when you have the coin thing, you have to push in a little thing to get your coin back. So you got to push your cart into another one to plug it in and get your coin back. And there's like, you know, inside the cart corral, there's like usually 2 or 3 lanes of carts. So you can put your cart in and then stack them 3 wide all the way deep. But people just get lazy.
Dude,
So
they're
they'll just go to the longest line and just add their cart onto that instead of like going next to it and
The
pushing
empty
it
lane.
in.
They don't go in the empty lane.
Yeah,
They just mind
so-
they just
and-
mash it.
And eventually it'll start like turning to where it blocks the other lanes. And more often than not, the cart line literally goes, because it's in like a parking space, right? The thing, it goes all the way across the aisle to like the parking spaces on the other side. So you have to just drive down another aisle because it's just a wall of carts because they just see the longest line and they're like, all right, done.
You need to take a picture of that next time you see that. I want to see an entire
I
aisle in
will.
the parking lot just blocked with stacked.
It
carts.
happens all the time. It's obnoxious.
Too many-
Shout out to my
That's a
local
fucking
no
gold mine
frills.
right there. Fucking
And they
bubbles.
it's just monkey brain. Like cart the
Can't
closest
say
one,
that.
boom, get your coin back. You can't say that. Yeah, that's your fan mail Animal Planet combo.
Oh god.
I get such a kick out of watching the cart narc videos. I love throwing those on like late at night before I go to bed. Have y'all seen those?
Years ago,
I
years
think I
ago,
watched one like a year
Oh
ago.
yes, that. Yeah.
They just consistently upload stuff, and it's just good little like 5-minute videos of people just getting just fuming because he's like telling them to put their carts back and throws a little sticker on their car, and they go nuts, and they go through like 20 times the effort of just putting their cart back because they're just fucking
Because they're
stubborn.
lazy. They're lazy fucks, and they don't deserve to vote.
And dude, he just travels all around the US. He did some in Europe. He did some in Canada.
Is that his full-time job?
It's-
Just cart narking?
I think he has a podcast or like a show or
East.
something.
So this isn't a U.S. only problem. This is like a global phenomenon.
It's
It
a
is
global
mostly
pandemic.
the US because the Americans are stubborn and lazy.
American
usually.
hyper individualism is killing us.
We need to
It's,
flatten the
it's
curve.
American laziness.
We need to flatten the
Laziness.
curve.
But it
of
happens here a
cart-
lot too.
Cart abandonment.
Send
We
in
paid
pictures
them
of your abandoned carts.
Via Cartnark, hit up
Shrimp Hours
ShrimpHoursPresents
at gmail.com. Send us pictures of funny carts and weird places. Maybe we'll make a cart segment.
This is the longest episode we've ever done, isn't it?
Ooh, I think. Oh yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, we had the yeah.
We're already 5 minutes over. All right, we gotta end this whatever this was.
All right, let's do it to him.
Oh boy.
What do we call this? I don't even.
Your truck. Yes. Let's do it to him.
Oh Jesus.
Another
It
gag
all
for
leads
the video viewers.
OKC.
I even have the.
There's the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Oh.
I did not hear that, but yeah.
I think the noise gate fucked it.
Yeah, Slap. What would you title your?
Slaps fucking saga of crazy.
There it is.
Jesus Christ. For the audio listeners, Slap is holding up a model Ryder truck in the old color scheme.
Cody chicken, by the way.
I don't know what you're
It has a
talking about.
horn.
Talking about showing up on a list, dude. That's gonna put you on a list.
Can we just call this like Slap's crazy ass saga?
It's
Slap's crazy ass universe.
All right.
Like, we need, is that it? Are we going with that?
He's just holding it up.
Are we getting at the truck?
I'm gonna get a good thumbnail for you, DT. Come on.
No, it's gonna be where you were excitedly holding up with your face in the frame. That's gonna be the thumbnail.
Can we just call this Slap has too much free time?
No. Slap, what would you call this timeline from?
OKC 95.
All right.
No, because it ties in the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
The Inferno.
No, but it's
Dude, every time they get involved, it's an inferno.
yeah, it's a recurring theme.
Bombs from helicopters.
The push cart Inferno that led to OKC 95.
Jesus. Yeah, that'll fit in a YouTube title. I think I'm gonna stick with Slap's crazy ass saga, or like
Slap's crazy ass universe.
crazy ass cinematic
universe.
universe. There it is. The the Slap's crazy ass cinematic universe. All right.
Yeah.
This is definitely the last ever episode of this show. See you never.
It's been a fun ride. I'll see y'all at Sumter Motor Speedway this weekend. Peace be upon ye, my brethren in Christ.
Remember,
You're
walk up
still
to
going
Slap
out with your hernia.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna say. Make sure when you find Slap, you just give him a nice
Yeah, I
little.
might die in surgery. I gotta go now.
Give him a
pick
nice
him
little
up from behind and
slap
just
right on the
stretch out his
abs.
abdomen.
Yeah.
Defy me.